Hello everybody, welcome to this kind of new format, at least for my channel I guess, where I would like to talk about a few things that are currently happening in the private server scene and would like to discuss them. And I guess one good way to do this is basically just go into the our server's Reddit. I know it sounds weird to say it's a good idea to go on this Reddit, but I guess it's pretty much all we've got to work with. I know there's like another Reddit too, but let's be real here, this is pretty much the most popular one, and even though it's kind of toxic, you still, like, if you want to be up to date, I guess this is still the place to go. So I thought let's just sort the topics by like most popular in the last week, and then maybe talk about a few that kind of caught my interest and I thought it would be worth talking about. And so yeah, let's just have a short little ramble video, so to speak. Yeah, so without further ado, thanks for joining me and let's go over a few issues here. First off, we got a topic by my beloved co-creator, Dutchy Kebab, the dangerous dead server meme, where he basically states that, well, it's getting kind of ridiculous, like with saying that 2,500 people aren't enough, or like are the signs of a dying server, which I totally agree with him here. Like it's like really weird. I think when private servers started out, you would have been lucky to be around 500, maybe 800 people. I know there were a few big ones, especially like those really ridiculous ones. For some reason they were like super popular. Later on everything shifted a bit more to the, let's say, Blizz-like side of things. But yeah, back in the day it was more than enough, and like not without a reason. Like even on the Blizz-like servers, and that's the same thing that Ochi says too, there weren't as many people. Like there wasn't a Nost or like a Elysium server or like a Warmain server with over 8,000 people. That was not the norm, and usually it was around 2k. So to write off servers left and right, it's just like really hurtful and harmful for the community, because I don't know, there are servers where you can have fun even with, let's say, 200-300 people. I personally would probably set my limit around 500, but like to just bash on servers and to be so toxic against every kind of server that is not the next Elysium or not the next Nostarius Warmain, it's getting really weird in that sense. I guess some people might get a bit spoiled after all the events that occurred on those said servers. Interestingly enough, I guess Alex responded to this thread by saying that low population, if it's good or bad for private servers. And I mean, like, he says no, I agree, it's not good. But I guess where we kind of disagree is when we talk about when this low population things occurs. I think low population, like, he has a point. Like basically the thing that he says is, if it starts out low and if it's dropping like by, I don't know, 100 players a week, that indeed it can die very fast. And I agree with him here, but I guess the reasons for that thing are like this mentality of this like community right now. So you kind of have to look after that, I guess. Because sure, like if there are like 800 people on a server and they're kind of panicky and saying, oh shit, I really have to go now, like this is not worth it anymore, this is not worth my time, this server is going to die. This kind of snowball effect happens and things get worse by the minute, by the day. So I think what counts is like a good tight community for servers like that are not like overwhelmed with all sorts of players, but more like have around 1k maybe. Because if not, and well, this is kind of the thing where I guess I also have to agree with Alex here, and we are getting kind of spoiled, because like the same thing with Burning Crusade servers, if there's like a new thing, if a new server gets hyped, then everybody just jumps aboard. And I guess that's a good thing if you have a really high population, is that with this kind of safety that comes with it, with this kind of, at least the sense of safety that this server will never die, people also will just stay there or like even acquire new people. I mean, in the end you can play wherever you like, and like I've played on Primal WoW, I play on Ascension, and those kind of servers really don't have that big of a community. But if you kind of can have a raid, and if you at least have some PvP and some sense of community. Like for me personally, it's also important to have this sort of show-off mechanic so that you can share your achievements. I think that's a really big deal for a lot of players too. But I mean, it's like you have to decide that for yourself. Like, those are my preferences, and if a guy like Alex, for example, really likes open world PvP and just like the general idea of having this huge massive online player, I mean, it's an MMORPG after all, then I also can get that point. But yeah, I guess bottom line here, just don't be too negative, because if you are pretty much also the reason for dying servers. Maybe a bit more loyal, I guess, to one server. But then again, I also can't really say that, because it's like, it's your time, it's just a game, like, play whatever you like. But I guess if you really want to have a change here, and if you really want to be against this whole dying and rehyping, like this whole cycle or circle that's been going on in the past years in the private server scene, then you should probably stick to one server at least for a while. I mean, even I'm guilty of this, I think, especially in the TPC area that we are currently in, like this current hype. I also jumped from here to there, but it wasn't not really my choice, I guess. It was more like because of the shutdown back when the now called Wargate was closed. I had to basically search for a new home. But yeah, all things considered, I think it's very important to stay and at least not be like this asshole that writes dead server in the chat, or like that tries to bombard servers with that sort of negativity. Another good point that Dodgy brings on here is that a server should also be valued on its quality. I guess if it's a good quality, then you also have a good player base. That's not always true, of course, but yeah, also something to keep in mind. But yeah, I feel like I've talked about this way too long without really saying much, but just something for your consideration the next time, maybe before you are about to post the horrid dead server meme. Then we had a really detailed kind of suggestion, I guess, to make legacy servers work from a user. And like, I don't want to get into too much detail right here, because this is a handful. This will probably be worth a whole video by itself, but I would highly recommend you to check out this post. It's definitely on the higher side of quality when it comes to the usual WoW servers Reddit posts. And just to give you a quick overview, like, he really got into detail how the release schedule and the kind of things that you would have to consider. Basically, he's making an effort to show Blizzard how it could work, and also to show the community how it could work, and what's currently not really working out in terms of the whole private server scene. Very interesting post. Again, I will probably put a link in the description. Check that one out. But I personally, I'm a bit pessimistic about stuff like that. Like, always when I see it, I don't know. It's really nice to read, and I really like the idea, and also the idea that people actually care so much about this and put so much effort into posts like that. But yeah, I've been disappointed by Blizzard in terms of this whole private server thing so often now that, yeah, it's kind of hard for me to get too excited about stuff like that. But still, very interesting read, and maybe I will make even like another video about this. Highly recommended. Then of course we had a change regarding the new Reddit structure, I guess. Reddit is so much better now, and also, like, I guess in the same sense, shoutouts to the new auto remove bot. So what's happening currently, maybe I can even find an example right here. Your post comment has been automatically removed because your account was too young, or maybe sometimes it's because the karma points are too low. And I have to agree, like, I think this was a great choice, and it drastically reduced the toxicity in this Reddit. It's still quite high, and I mean, all the let's say, veterans of toxic postings are still in the server, Raw Service Reddit, and they still try their best to post a lot of toxic shit. But in general, like, huge change, I think, for the overall climate on this Raw Service Reddit, and a very welcome one. So great stuff. Some other big topics this week and also the week before were the upcoming Warcraft launch. I think there's been a ton of videos about Warcraft and what to expect, like a Q&A from Hamster Wheel and a bunch of other videos kind of taking this idea, or like taking the input he got, and also like informing the player base about what's going to happen. So I'm not going to make a extra special video about Warcraft. I will definitely play on it. I will also probably stream on it on Friday, 8 AM, PM. Shameless self-plug there, but okay. Yeah, I think I will make it live. Maybe I will also record it, but I will be there. I've been watching this project for quite a while now. Played on the closed beta back then. Sorry, open beta, I think. And yeah, looking very much forward to it. If you know my channel, if you know me, you probably also know that Wrath of the Lich King was one of my favorite expansions, together with Burning Crusade. And I just like it. I like it a lot for a whole different reasons than I like BC, but I love it. It's such a great, like, lore-wise, and also like it's a nice balance between casual playing and also feeling like you accomplished something. And the PvP has been great too on that expansion, although I did not really play that much on PvP, on the PvP side. In general, like World of Warcraft, PvP, not my cup of tea. So yeah, very excited about this. It's about to release soon. I can recommend you to check out Mr. Game Master review, I think is here. Yeah, then also stay safe, of course. Did a video about it, so also worth checking out. So I think they pretty much said everything. Like there've been a bunch of bugs on the server still, and yeah, I guess having like 1 or maybe even 2 more months would not hurt them in terms of quality. But I'm still very happy that they are going to release, and I hope it will be playable, and I hope I won't have too many issues with my hunter, because I'm going to play hunter, but the pets, like the pet classes, are really kind of iffy on the server right now. But yeah, looking very much forward to this. And then, as I said already, Project Ascension. If you know this channel, if you are watching this video, you also know. Huge fan of that project. So this will probably, those 2 servers will be the one that will occupy my World of Warcraft needs for the next few months. Going to make another episode soon, I think, of Ascension. And then, yeah, Warcraft, having those 2 things, those 2 projects that will take quite some time. Regarding Project Ascension, great server. I think it's also worth to make a whole whole separate video about that server as well, about my experiences so far, because a lot of things changed back from Awakening. Everything feels a lot more polished, and just it feels like a round, nice server right now. Still a bit concerned about the endgame content and about how certain builds will just dominate the whole scene. But then again, I think there will be a lot of meta games. Like if a certain build is going to be the #1 pick, then a certain meta game will evolve that will allow us to also counter that, and then there will be a counter to the counter. And I guess you kind of get my idea here, and so this will be very interesting, especially on the PvP realm. Still might have been a good idea to check out the the softcore realm, because it's getting kind of frustrating. Like, if you are wondering why there hasn't been a new part, I've also been ganked quite a lot, and although I have some equipment in reserve, yeah, it still sets you back quite a bit. But we will get there. We will get to level 60 on that server for sure. So yeah, that should be a-okay. Also, there has been kind of little side note here, apparently Project Ascension has been hacked, but just for a short while everything should be fine and dandy. Now actually the site redirected you to Pornhub, interestingly enough. So just a little tidbit of information there, but nothing too major. Apparently also, like, according to the GMs, no information was stolen, like no login data and stuff like that. Everything is okay again. So I'm looking forward to play some more. Yeah, I guess that's been it. Like, there were a few other topics, more like on the bottom side of things, that I would have liked to talk about, but I think this video is long enough already. It might be a bit too unstructured and rambly, like this whole format that I'm going for here. I think I have to make more notes for the next episode and like have a bit maybe more preparation and like some sort of goal, like some sort of point I'm going to go for with all those different points, because especially like that first point I think was a bit too rambly. Like, I'm not too sure if I got my point across there. Again, English not being my first language, so yeah. Still, please let me know what you think, like if you agree with that self-criticism, I guess. If you would like to add something, feedback is always highly appreciated. So I can maybe change a few things around. If you're even interested in general, like about this whole kind of news Reddit kind of format, I guess, would be nice to know. Other than that, thanks for watching. And with that being said, let's have a discussion in the comments. What did you think? And yeah, have a great evening. Until next time, guys, and I see you soon. Bye.